Hello, this is Lucy. A very quick one from me to say that this week I'm on the fantastic podcast Cursed Objects, talking about the great British institution of the meal deal. I love this podcast, and it was a real honour to join Dan Hancox and Dr. Kasia to really get into it. You can hear the full version of this episode on the Cursed Objects podcast feed. I'll put the link in the show notes of this mini app, but I wanted to share just a little taste of it on Lekker right here. So here's the first 10 minutes. Bon appetit.
Hello and welcome to Cursed Objects, a podcast about cultural history, politics and tat. Sort of like a cursed show and tell, where every week we bring in a number of objects or an object and kind of discuss the social worlds that surround it. My name is Dr. Kasia, and as ever I'm joined by my co-host.
Hello, I'm Dan Hancox, journalist and author.
But excitingly, we have a guest with us today.
Woo!
So Lucy Dearlove is the genius behind the food and culture podcast Lekker. And if you haven't yet listened to it, you are massively missing out. Her audio style is what I can only describe as convivial, in that she creates a sense of warmth in everything she turns her hand to.
Oh.
You're not crying, I'm crying. Wait, who's crying?
Who's crying?
From episodes on the joyous art of hot pots to the gendered politics of the kitchen, Lucy enchants places and moments of the everyday. On a personal level, Lucy is one of the good guys, someone who's been deeply encouraging of anyone trying to get into audio, and that includes us. So we're really grateful, but we're really excited to have you here, Lucy. So Lucy, welcome.
I'm not crying, but I have actually just steamed my glasses up a bit. That was a lovely intro. Thanks so much. I don't feel worthy, but thank you. It's actually it is a genuine, I actually hate it when podcasts do this, but it is a genuine honour to be here. I love this podcast.
And we love Lekker. It's just,
There we go. We'll say it once and then we'll move on.
Yes.
We don't.
Yeah.
It's not a big circle.
Enough with the earnestness. We've got it out early.
It's going to be really cold, clinical and professional from here on.
Only what you can expect from me.
So, Lucy, what have you brought us today?
So I have brought a meal deal.
Ooh.
The meal deal.
Ooh.
And I guess to start with, for any of your listeners who are not from, I guess, the UK, I should say, as broadly. Although I can't really speak for what the meal deal situation is like the particular preferences are like in, Northern Ireland or Scotland or even Wales. It is pretty much an English perspective, but I think it is available in the region. I should probably explain what it is for anyone who doesn't know. And I think there are different definitions of a meal deal, and it can encompass the idea of kind of the dine-in kind of ready meal situation where you get a side and a lasagna or something and a bottle of wine. But the meal deal I am talking about is what is sold in supermarkets up and down the country, and also a chemist, weirdly, which we'll talk about. And you get essentially a main meal, which is predominantly a sandwich, although there are other options, a snack and a drink, and it is for a fixed price.
It is such an English/British institution, isn't it? I'm thinking about the way that people eat lunch in different parts of the world that I'm aware of anyway, and there's nowhere else where you can walk into a chemist. I'm just imagining overseas listeners will be just completely baffled by that, I would imagine.
It is just truly weird, and it is something, so that obviously what we're talking about is the fact that it is available at Boots. And Boots is in fact, as I'll sort of talk about in a minute, Boots is the origin really of the meal deal as we know.
Wow.
And love it. Yeah, they were the first. They say that they weren't the first to do it, but they were the first to kind of make it available kind of generally as a thing. And I still it is just, that's just really weird. Boots is a place where you go for your paracetamol or your shower gel, or your prescriptions, or they do hearing tests, eye tests, but they also do sell.
and particularly one of my favourite things about the Boots food offer, as I'm sure they call it in corporate HQ, is the fact that they do sushi. That's just that is the most cursed aspect as far as I'm concerned. The fact that this, this centuries-old, incredibly delicate art that's travelled all the way from Japan has reached its ultimate destination, which is to be sold in a British chemist. for like a horribly cheap amount.
Yeah, I mean, I really think there is much that is cursed about the meal deal, but that is, I think you might have hit a kind of the trough.
What do you have an ultimate sort of cursed meal deal combo?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question, and I think that like it's what you choose for your meal deal is like a question that has fascinated many generations.
It's a really intimate question in a way.
Yeah.
If I was on a date with someone and they were like, "What's your meal deal choice?" and I hadn't really thought about it, I would feel really exposed.
You're like, this is a first date. Hang on till date 3. That's like third base.
Yeah, right. I want to shout out my friend Ben at this point, who like whenever he gets drunk, he asks you what your meal deal choice is, and then he's just like incredibly rude about it. Whatever you say. And it's like, it's actually got to the point now where I can't answer the question because I get so anxious. And also, like, I think that I don't have a meal deal that I choose over and over again. Like, I think I feel so overwhelmed by the amount of choice that I just can't restrict myself to the amount to one thing every time. I ate 4 meal deals in the past week as research for this.
We love it when I get
so
invested.
I think there are some quite cursed combinations here, so I'm going to tell you about them. Okay, so day 1, I had a Tesco smoked ham and mature cheddar sub.
Right, yep.
I had a vanilla Coke Zero.
Okay, yeah.
And some Itsu seaweed thins.
Wow, Itsu seaweed thins are part of the Tesco meal deal.
Part of the meal deal, yeah.
Interesting.
Again, that
cross-pollination
great
of brands.
culture, truly so respectful. Day 2, I had, I think this was a Sainsbury's actually. I had a Red Leicester Ploughman's, a coconut water, and this weird like yogurt bar thing that was made of some sort of Scandinavian yogurt that was basically like a cheesecake bar that was in the fridge.
Wow. A cheesecake bar in the fridge.
Lucy, it was
I'm
nicer
loving
than I
this.
expected.
Yeah, this is so.
Loving this.
Honestly, the levels that I've gone to for you.
I feel really vanilla in comparison. Like I never go for these kind of extraordinary options.
Not Coke Zero vanilla either.
Not even that kind of
That
vanilla.
was quite rogue, I think. That wouldn't be my normal choice. I think I just felt very empowered by the choice on offer. That I could choose anything. Day 3, I had a chicken club, some Walker's Max paprika and a flavoured Highland Spring.
Right, yes, great.
And finally, a Tesco spicy bean wrap with cheese, a Scotch egg, and a Fanta strawberry and kiwi, 0 sugar.
Wow.
Oh my God, I love this.
So I don't know if that
what a window
answers
into your soul.
but-
Yeah. Because I feel like why I said I felt quite vanilla is because I always go for like pretty much always a sandwich of some description, usually with meat in, and then I don't know, like a chicken salad, or like a ham one, or something like that. But I have to get crisps with it.
Okay.
So the snack option, which could be anything, which is kind of the most exciting part, I always have to get crisp because it's a textural issue.
Okay.
Because those sandwiches are so sorry.
I think the word we'd use is claggy.
Yeah. Like you need some texture. So I will always get crisp to put in.
Yeah, you're putting them in the sandwich.
Always. But then I look really mad because I'm there just like yamming down this sandwich on a bench, like stuffing all these crisps in.
I think people know what you're doing and they
think
rate
that's
it,
fine.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can I just put why don't you try a seaweed thin?
Did you put those in your ham and cheese? Because I wanted to ask that.
Actually, I have to say, it was the Tesco near my house that I went to, and I actually went home and I toasted the sandwich and put some kimchi in it.
Wow.
Because I was like,
Pimped your meal deal.
I'm hacking my meal deal. And then I went to a Sainsbury's the other day, and they had the next day, and they had subs that were designed to be heated up, and I was like, They've beaten my logic. It was that they had like a meatball marinara.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that you could put in the microwave.
Because I think this is really quite important that there are different. I don't know. I feel like every outlet of a meal deal is slightly different. They basically do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But they're slightly different in terms of what they offer. So I usually go to Tesco's.
Okay.
Because that's like the biggest one near my place of work.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I think that, like, in terms of price and in terms of, like, what you get, like, they're quite good. I feel like Sainsbury's have absolutely ruined what they had going for them.
I
Because
agree.
they used to have the gourmet ones.
Yeah, and now you have to pay like £5 to get
Not
that.
doing that.
No, absolutely.
No.
Is there a 2-tiered meal deal
There
situation
is.
in Sainsbury's?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this little taste of Cursed Objects. You can hear the full version of this over on the Cursed Objects podcast feed right now.